is lined off Bankfield Drive in Homebridge. The original application was for 16 dwellings, but there's now been a revised plan application. It's not a separate one, it's the same one, put in by Orion Homes for the building of 21 houses. I can just remind the council that they did oppose the original application for 16 dwellings from a meeting on the 22nd of May this year, on the basis of highway safety, the narrow and steep access lanes, which would be subject to significant increase in usage, because of the poor mix of affordable housing which contravened Kirklees Supplementary Planning Document LP 11, and because of poor climate emergency mitigation. As you say, the revised plans were submitted to the council too late for inclusion in this meeting. We currently have a deadline of the 3rd of November for public comments, and we're aware that the next Home Valley Parish Council meeting is the 4th of December, when this amendment will be discussed. As residents were still seeking clarification of some of the issues, we've requested an extension of the deadline for comments, and whilst we've not so far had time to fully consider all aspects of the revised application, the following concerns have been identified. 21 houses would generate a significant increase in traffic, not only on Bankfield Drive, but also on Lave Avenue, Lave Bank Drive, and all the surrounding narrow, windy, steep roads that go from the estate to the main Woodhead Road in both directions. The revised transport statement that has been submitted only comments on traffic leaving Bankfield Drive and entering the top of Smithy Lane, and is therefore inadequate. It doesn't mention anything about traffic leaving Lave Bank Drive. The number of parking spaces on the new plan, there's 51, which includes 5 visitor spaces, and some of the driveway parking has been squashed in one behind the other or away from the corresponding residences, which would encourage parking on pavements, and obviously 51 further vehicle movements would increase the traffic on the narrow local roads. Planning guidance states that affordable housing should be spread out within the site, and this isn't the case on these plans. The revised application has only been accompanied by a new transport statement. All of the documentation is at present unaltered, and many issues raised in the consultee responses and comments on the original application have not been addressed, and it's therefore difficult to comment on the application without clarification on things such as the construction of the houses, drainage. Kirklees Lead Local Flood Authority, for example, didn't accept the existing plans and the calculations for flood risks. Without clarification on details of landscaping, road layout, we could go on. Without this clarification and further information that was requested in the consultee responses reports on the original submission, it's difficult to know just what the plan would involve. We believe that 21 houses is an over-intensification of the site, and the density and character of the properties proposed are completely out of line with the existing adjoining estate, which only has 12 detached houses on a similar sized plot. There'll be noise disturbance from the site, which could be significant. And given that this site is steeply sloping, the gradient on Bankfield Drive is 1 in 5 at the moment, which runs alongside this field. There's no plans at all included on the elevations or the gradients of the development that have been included all the way along. The dwellings at the bottom of the hill on the northern side will have to drive steeply uphill to exit the site, which will prove difficult in icy and snowy conditions and mean that emergency vehicles will have difficulty accessing the site at such times. And I don't think we should overlook the high elevation of this site, which looks straight onto Home Moss. It's much higher than the rest of the Home Firth area. The structure and strength of the retaining wall at the northern end of the site, which is about 9 to 10 foot high, is of particular concern. And we know that on the new plan, the housing which is suggested has been moved closer to that wall. Farah Khatibi, is that how I say his name? From structures at the council is particularly concerned of the ability of this wall to uphold the new development. We're concerned that the 65 comments from local residents on the original plan, nearly all, 95%, expressed concern over road safety, and also commenting on the high density of the site have been largely ignored, and we would appreciate the parish council's support in opposing this application.
The thing that the council don't mention, not parish council but Kirkland Council, obviously they don't get reports of all the incidents that do happen on that particular junction on between Bankfield Drive and Glade Bank. There are a number of them that happen day in, day out. We actually live on there, obviously, and they take no account whatsoever of those because there hasn't so far been a serious injury. However, relatively recently, a van went out of control and knocked off a lamppost part way down Bankfield Drive, and they had to put a new lamppost in. It's quite a frequent occurrence, and obviously with it being a rural school route as well, and people going, and children going to Inchcliffe Mill Junior Infant School, they go to the preschool there. It gets busier and busier with the cycleway, West Yorkshire cycleway, which goes past there, and it's just a serious accident waiting to happen with that wall at the bottom, which if anybody does go through it, and a number of cars have almost gone through it in the past, it's a 40-foot drop. It's dangerous, so we can't understand how they've actually, although we don't like the fact that there's a development proposal gone in, the fact they've increased from 16 to 21, when going in the past it's always been turned down, going back to 1993, 1972, it's always been rejected due to highway safety. Suddenly it's okay, and that's what we can't get our head around.
Okay, thank you very much. As I said earlier,
Yeah.
it will be on our agenda for the 4th of December, so you're very welcome to come late once again. Just keep your eyes on the application with Kirklees.
Yeah.
I think it most unlikely it will go to committee before our next meeting, but all things are possible.
Yeah.
Okay, very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay if you want.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
For squeezing us in this afternoon. Thank you.
Okay. Here we go then, 98. Item 98, that's a lot. Is that one we do every time? Let's just carry on. Meetings can now be recorded, and they are being, does anybody want to do their own recording, so that we're all happy with the YouTube one? Okay. 99, apologies for absence.
Earlier I circulated apologies from councillors Rostrom and Councillor Ransby. You've also separately had apologies from Councillor Lyles this evening, which came in a bit later, and we have a dispensation from Councillor Fernandez in place.
Okay. Are we all happy to accept the apologies?
Yes.
100. Members and officers' personal and disclosable pecuniary interests in items on the agenda.
I have one on it's item 17 on our application list, Kirklees number 92880.
I don't think I have. I know the previous owners, but I don't think they had anything to do with that now, so I think
You probably don't need to do it.
I'm fine. Okay, DPI dispensations, any requests for new ones? No. 102, consider whether items on the agenda should be discussed in private session. Is there anything there that we need to discuss in private? No. 103, confirm the minutes of the previous meeting, held on the 11th of September. Would you like to say yes?
Yes.
All happy with them? Thank you. 104, completed Kirklees planning application list. Just to note the list, can we note? Thank you. 105, new planning applications, D in the list. Consider new or amended applications from September 2023 to October 10th. So off we go. Number 1. This is yourself.
Yep. I've had a look at this one, and there was no application form with the planning application on the website, which makes things a bit vague about it. I've had a look at it. So it's a demolition of some kennels which are at the rear of the property, and in its place they're wanting to build like a small dwelling. Well, it's not small, it's 3 bedrooms and it's 2 stories. It's completely out of the way, it won't really affect anybody near there. It's quite a bit of a change from what's existing there, but I don't know what really grounds we have to refuse it on. I'm not crazy about it. I don't think it's a green belt application because it's like on in the curtilage definitely. And part of it's over the old kennel, so I don't think there's any reason to refuse it.
Well, as you say, I noticed there's no application to look at, so you can't see what the materials are.
You know, or the reasoning, quite often like with an application like this, they might be building it for their children to live in and who are working also on the farm or something like this. But there wasn't, it's quite key information, isn't it? It's missing.
Absolutely.
So, but saying that shouldn't be, whether it's built for the children to live in or something like that, it's not really planning consideration you should think about. You should just look at the plans, and I think it's okay.
I was disappointed with the climate change statements as well. And there's a comment, in due course it may have solar panels. In due course it may not as well. You know, it's a new dwelling, isn't it? I think we should really expect more than that. But as you say, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's not like it's going to be seen anywhere. So from that point of view,
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. But like you say, are we refusing applications now for lack of climate change
no.
elements? So I don't know.
I thought really for the reasons you say, no, we should support it. But I think we should draw attention to the really perfunctory climate change statement, and also the fact that there was no application form, so we've not did that materials. So maybe we should just put a note of that, providing materials are from keeping.
Yeah.
Are we happy to support on that basis?
I would say so, yeah.
Right. Okay, thank you.
So that support with a caveat of what, sorry?
No application forms and poor,
Climate.
The no application form meant we don't know what the materials are, so our approval is subject to it being approved.
it could be brief blocks and leave it in.
Could be aluminium.
Only because it looks okay. It does look like using stone and like usual slightly you'd expect, but yeah, it's just worth having it on there, isn't it?
So, number 2.
I have nothing to comment on here, just support it. I mean, they're building a conservatory.
It's an orangery.
An orangery, but
What's the big difference?
it's not quite an orangery. I was told this is an orangery with a glass roof. It's got a glass lantern.
Alright.
So it's a sort of hybrid between a conservatory and an orangery.
Okay.
I thought it was totally unremarkable, but I can't
Completely unremarkable. It's just on the back of comparatively new houses. There seems to be plenty of space for them.
Okay, are we happy to support?
Yeah.
Number 3. Deeshore Lane.
Yeah, this is another one I look at in Folkestone. It's an agricultural building, small. The materials make it look like it's an agricultural building. It's not something that's going to change into a house or anything like that. And it's out in the sticks. I think it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, right. That could be the sort of thing.
Yeah.
Support. Number 4. is.
Just to mention that Councillor Landry has sent me some notes on some of these number 4 as well.
Yes.
It's listed building anyway, so we usually refer those.
Yes, on this one, he just made a comment about external plumbing downpipes to be measured at HVPC. I had a quick look at it, but I just thought it was a listed buildings officer one.
Just if
I think so.
Number 5. Conversion of existing drainage to a home gym. Thorn Lane in Netherthorne.
Well, and solar panels. But again, it's not us, it's conservation area, so we usually refer those to planning officers as well.
We have received some comments from Councillor Landry on this one as well.
Can't do this.
It says, forecourt in front of the garage would seem adequate to accommodate 3 vehicles.
Good support. Are we moving to support? Does anyone have any comments on this one? Okay. Should we comment on the photovoltaic solar panels?
Positively. They're on the back of the building as well, aren't they? So that's okay. Positively.
Number 6 is a list of building consent in Hepworth.
Yeah, I've had a look at this one. Basically, it's another conservatory at the back of the dust and being replaced by a small extension instead. It's absolutely fine.
But again, I mean, it's listed, so.
It's subject to the listed building officer. In fact, it'd probably be, it might even be an improvement on the listed building
Well,
business.
conservatories wouldn't get listed building now, would they?
No, it's not like a part of the, it's not an effect of like the old part of the building, so. Anyway, it's, well, subject to subject to the listed building officer, I'm okay with it.
I assume number 7 is the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, there's that support.
Does it slow down?
It's fine, I'm trying to read it. So these 2, are we commenting together on these 2?
Yeah, same
Well, they're saying,
concept, yeah.
it's just that they're doing
About $50.
one application for this,
Support,
one
yeah.
for the, and sometimes we'll pass one and not do.
So support subject to conservation officer.
Yeah, the listed building officer.
Okay, number 8, direction of extensions and alterations, there is Crescent Milthorpe.
We've got some comments on
There's
this.
nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with it. Okay with it?
I had a look at this one, I just thought, it's a very big extension. Did anybody else, what did you think, Isaac, did you think that was okay? I just thought it was huge, isn't it, and a really
I should have declared interest, because I looked at the name, I think I'm on over speak for.
It's okay if you know the people. It's kind of, I'd only declare an interest if you've got financial interest with the people,
Okay.
or if you know the people, if you're like best friends with them or something
Yeah,
like that.
but in this, you're likely to know loads of the
Martin did ask a comment on this, he said, it will be a big change and big in size and go to the edge of the plot, but it looks like that's been done by their neighbours on the other side. So modern development, so no big worries about appearance, neighbours' comments might carry some weight. Also the conservation statement is very fluffy, no substance in the responses.
Is that fluffy in a lovely green sort of way?
Snowflake.
An interpretation, so.
That wasn't really a total negative response to that, was it?
No.
And Isaac.
I think he's saying it's been done already on the outside.
Yeah.
It's one side of it as well, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Are we happy
And
with
if
support?
it's too big, the planners will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yes.
Number
Down.
9. How many more? I think it's maybe-
Is there a building that isn't being altered or extended in Woolgate?
No. We're redesigning the whole area.
This is
So
demolition.
It's every week with 3 or 4 and you think, what's in it? Titchy little place.
It's big when you think more now, it's quite a big ward, it covers quite a big area.
Yeah, but they always seem to be in the conservation bit.
It's got 3 councillors, so like you think about, I think it's 1 councillor per 8,000 people or something like that.
So right, so it's a big one, yeah.
Yeah.
This is demolition of existing conservatory. How the one goes. And porch.
I thought this was one of the unobjectionable ones, really. It's, for once, there was a thorough climate change. I mean, mostly, it's like a tick box exercise, isn't it? And it was always better when it was free form, but this was a pretty good statement. So I thought it didn't seem to have an impact on the neighbours, so I've just been inclined to support it.
I think I said the same, yeah.
Comments from councillor Ramsby, big extension, there are currently 3 car parking spaces.
Number 10. Number 10 amendment. 10 revenue removal there. Abolish a garage and a 2-storey extension.
I had a look at this one too, I didn't feel happy about. I don't feel happy about this one. I thought I'm going to oppose it really. I thought the extension was really disproportionate and dominant in relation to the existing building, and it kind of fruit projection, which is kind of dominant in relation to the existing building. So I don't know if anybody else said that.
I had a look at, I was a bit concerned about the parking. We're going from a 3-bed to a 5-bed. Significant size houses with that. So it should have a minimum of 3 parking spaces.
I've got comments from councillor Ramsby, another large extension, but there is sufficient parking provision.
He doesn't make it very clear. I just looked at it and thought, I can only see 2.
He's probably right, because he knows how to read plans, doesn't he? He's been a
What
planner.
did he say? Right.
Which plans?
It's qualified though, isn't it?
Yeah, he did very well, right. I questioned it, that's all.
Would it be a bit, well, you mentioned parking provision, other intensification sounds like as well. So we do have reasons to refuse
It
it.
was dominant. I thought it was too dominant.
I thought it could only be whatever percent of the original building the next day.
Yes, and then the plans will look at that one. It seemed very large.
I think that's guidelines, you can't turn something
You
down.
can't turn something down with the thought only on guidelines, really.
No, you can't, I think they generally are the guidelines, you're not supposed to do something by more than a third of the footprint, but sometimes they do, well, sometimes you see things refused and sometimes you don't do, so it's consistency, and I suppose it depends on the extension and how big the plot is as well, doesn't it? It's a lot of the factors that affects it.
I don't feel that strongly about opposing it if the willing
No.
to support it.
Plus, they might not have to pay for our car, we don't know, it's just because there's parking allocations.
The problem is that the next person who owns it may have. I mean,
That might be not in our lifetime though. You know, certain people have these extensions because of dogs and.
But when you think they say that a 4-bedroom plus should have a minimum of 3 places.
I mean, it shouldn't have really.
especially in a place with narrow streets and all, it's
Built
wonderful.
to pay.
On the pavements, don't we? I could sort of go either way, but I'm happy to oppose if that's what they're thinking.
Well, I think if we're not sure about it, I think the best is going to oppose rather than approve.
Yeah. Well, should we oppose and we could raise concerns about car parking.
Parking.
And the extension is dominant, I think, in relation to existing building.
Okay, are we all right with that?
That would be pretty long.
Was that majority, so?
Yes, one abstention. Number 11, Midbottom House. This is Newman Urban District Council.
Yeah, it would have been, well, before it became part of the parish council, they all merged together, yeah, it was the old council offices.
I never only walked past it the other day and I said, what am I doing?
Yeah, no. What's surprising about this one actually, I'm a bit surprised it's not listed, because it's quite an historic and old building. So, like, I don't know if it is listed and it's not being mentioned, or whether there might be a plan that comes in next time for the listing, but I was a bit surprised by that. Because it's one of them ones where you do walk past it and you do look at it, alright, so it sticks out a bit compared to the other buildings around it. So,
I mean, they're fairly modest sort of changes.
well, actually one thing here which makes me think it could be listed is that they've got, in part of the application, it mentions internal alterations, and quite often you only get internal alterations mentioned when it's a listed building. So they're looking at putting some solar panels on the back and a couple of roof lights on the front of it, and then the internal bits, which it doesn't really matter unless the inside of it is unless it's remarkable, which I don't really know. So
that's a good question. Whether it's listed.
Actually, maybe there are things inside that are listed. Who knows?
I don't know. I've got no issues with the solar panels that are at the back, but like listed buildings, people might think differently. It's quite complicated, and the roof lights in the front as well. They're not really going to change the appearance too much, but I don't know about the history with it and if it's listed or not. So it's.
I was under the impression from previous conversations that if it's a certificate of lawfulness application, we didn't comment. Is that right or not?
Actually, we tend not to, yeah, we tend to refer to.
I mean, all they're saying here is effectively, we don't think we need planning permission, just confirm it. So it's a technical sort of appraisal anyway, isn't it? It doesn't stop us commenting. We don't have to do it, we can just refrain from commenting from there. I wouldn't mind just sort of posing the question, is it listed? It's not clear from this application.
Let's ask that question.
But otherwise leave it to these
Quickly,
officers. Everybody happy with that? Number 12. Shaley Farm in Scholes.
I wonder if it's going to be a big and big.
I've got a comment from councillor Ransby on this one as well.
Mr. Waterhouse.
Oh, sorry, he's declaring interest, I think
Yes.
it's on that one from earlier. Okay, thank you.
So we can go.
I
Do you want to amend?
Yeah, I thought, yeah, so it's the new dwelling as a holiday let, isn't it, really? So, some wasn't quite clear whether it was actually demolition or conversion of an existing building, both terms we used. I didn't think, I thought the plans were pretty unobjectionable, it's a pretty boring looking building. But it's encouraging diversifying on the farm, and you know, it's quite close to where I live, so I do know it. So I thought there should, given that it's virtually a new build, there should have been more emphasis on climate change. It's kind of minimalist.
Opportunity to build it in if you're doing it from scratch.
I've written totally inadequate.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I've
too strong a
written
word, yeah.
Is it just down the road from where they built all the new houses?
Yeah, it's Roy Waterhouse, those what it's down the road from ours.
Just trying to work out which side it's on.
I don't really want to comment really, it's Sandy Gate, turn left,
Yeah.
sort of behind the side chair.
Oh, it's on the right hand side.
More or less on the junction, isn't it?
Yeah, just past the gate, yeah. So I don't really want to,
Okay.
there's a neighbour and a friend, so I don't,
Yeah, I know, my brother lives just off Sandy Gate.
I thought it was, given all that, though, I thought it was okay. I still think it's not going to impact on neighbours, it's, you know.
no, it's fine enough for way now.
Yeah.
Big good thing really, because the existing building is demolishing. It's like,
It looks a bit rubbish, doesn't it?
seen better days, to say the least, yeah.
I would suggest perhaps we say support, but say they would have expected, you know, a more detailed statement on climate change.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 13. One Norfolk on the Lane.
What's a reserved matters application?
They've already had outline planning permission.
Ah, right, it's one of those where they don't tell you what they're going to do, they're just saying in the future will be.
I mean, I think it was all matters reserved in this case, so it was just very much an outline application.
It's a bit of a complicated one, this one, isn't it? But they had outline permission granted in 2021. Previously they had an application for 2 bungalows rejected. The biggest issue last time when it went up for outline permission was highways. Very narrow lane, poor exit onto on there, I think it would be. But Kirklees Highways were happy with it, so they got that outline permission. On this application, there's only been one objection, it's on highways, which has already been accepted in the outline permission, so I don't think there's much point complaining about that. I did think it was a very large, imposing building. This is a 5-bedroom with a gym and a home cinema. It's got 3 garages. Climate statement, political, particularly for a development like this. It's a big, expensive development. There's nothing really in terms of solar PV or air source heating. I couldn't see any details of materials either. I suspect they're okay. I feel like opposing on the grounds of I just don't seem to put enough effort in.
Sure, that's it.
No, I mean in terms of the climate
Oh, I see,
statement.
yeah.
And it's a very imposing building, it's very big, so.
So we want decent climate stuff, yeah.
Urban intensification.
Yeah. And that is something that was raised previously about it being potentially a very imposing development. All of the issues. Does anybody want to answer that?
I think we've got sufficient grounds for refusal there, urban intensification, urban walking, you mentioned climate change, you mentioned materials as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I just couldn't see anything about materials. The drawings are quite good.
Concerns over the materials.
And it looks as though they're using stone and slate, but who knows?
I think we've got enough grounds there for a refusal.
Should we perhaps mention we haven't got, not enough information for such a huge, enormous development.
I think we just expect more from something like that.
I mean, you get more for an orange.
But but they are saying it's a reserved matters application, so we know there's more to come, aren't
No, this is the more.
Oh, this is the more.
This is the more, and everything was reserved, so you think they would have made more effort.
More
Well,
effort
yeah.
to put a better plan together.
They probably just think they're going to get it through because of they've already been given outline permission for it. So, and that might be the case.
But we've got grounds for not liking it.
If we have planning grounds for saying no, we should say no.
Yeah.
Not enough information provided.
Okay.
Poor effort, give them a D. Yeah,
They get numbers now, they don't get like D's or C's or A's. They get numbers.
we've all been on so.
I think it'd be a 3 or a 4 though, that one, like, based on, that's about a D, I think, isn't it? Like exit point. Sorry?
3 and 4 is a C.
3 and 4 is a C?
Yes.
Alright.
5 is a D.
Oh, the other way around is it?
Yes. It's
Alright. I thought the higher the number the better.
I'll say you mean right now.
It's your change.
Okay, can we, are we going to oppose? Okay. 14, extension of existing driveway.
I had to look at this one since my officials were against it, and I didn't have to be able to look at it. It's completely straightforward as far as I'm concerned. It's basically, they want to asphalt an area that's currently normal, just to increase the parking space.
Well, we could ask for porous outstanding.
They do make some
It's
reference
my
about,
thing.
they do make some reference about runoff onto absorbent land.
Oh, do
So-
they?
so they have
Oh,
it.
so they've thought about
They have
it.
it, yes.
In case
Porous
it's on
track in my flat
Your
roof.
flat room.
I couldn't understand why a planning application had been submitted for this, because it's only just slightly increased.
Putting some gravel on the lawn.
Putting some gravel on the
Yeah,
lawn.
I don't recall seeing-
I have no idea, I can't see any reason for objecting. One would assume that the state's actual, wouldn't it, do well, it would be better if it was some kind of permeable surface, but they do, as you say, talk about the runoff onto the soft landscaping, so I just think we've just got to support it. The climate change statement was really minimal, but it was difficult to
Yeah.
write
If all
one.
they're doing is extending the drive.
Yeah, and it's not in, I thought, so I looked at the conservation area maps and I wondered if it is just outside the underbank conservation area, so it's not in the conservation area.
So perhaps they
But I
think
just
they
think
are.
it's just support, I think.
Spot. Thank you. 15, erection of enclosure of existing mineral.
I had to support, I mean, it's very big, but agricultural buildings are big. It looked.
This came up in the 2022 application and we supported it then,
Yeah.
and Kirkby's turned it down because they thought it was, not appropriate in the green belt. I mean, there seem to be so many reasons for supporting it.
Well, yeah, it's a farm,
It's a
an
farm, it's an agricultural building, like an
agriculture
agricultural
is
building.
in the green
So-
belt, where do they expect them to go?
Yeah.
To the Dewsbury?
Central Huddersfield and we practice there.
Yeah.
I think the issue here is that last time they said it was an inappropriate development because effectively they're making a shed out of an area that's just open at the moment. And it's very big, isn't it? Even on this,
Yeah.
the set of
But
reviews.
it's surrounded by fields.
I just wonder now, having said that last time, this moves the application on, I don't,
Well, I think it's significantly smaller than the.
but that wasn't the point last time, you
No,
just
that
said.
wasn't the point last
So yeah,
Say it's
I can't see a
Yeah.
problem with an agricultural building on a farm.
A farm wants an agricultural building.
It would be a bit inconsistent.
Well, European law states if you've got livestock other than sheep, they have to be provided with shelter.
Do they have
Or is
their
it
own
us?
horses?
But this is for,
This is for
the stables, it's for like riding for the disabled and.
Yeah, but are they their own horses? They're their
Yes,
own,
they
they're
will.
their.
They're on the farm,
Yes,
yeah,
they will.
yeah.
I wondered about
Well,
just
I
maybe this one
support
to
it,
Kirkby.
I think we should support.
We
I'll
didn't
support
support
that
last
myself.
time.
I mean, it would be a bit inconsistent, not mind you, we are not always consistent, but given that we supported the larger, the one,
Yes.
if we now
It's
say
not
no
like
to
that,
The
yes.
small one, it's a
the
bit like,
smaller one, yeah.
Yeah,
look
yeah.
a bit of a,
So I think we should, my feeling is we should support it again.
Okay. Sixteen. Side extension of external alteration.
Yes, this is a really small extension, or office that they're adding onto the side of the property. I don't have any issues with it.
I just put no issues and support.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely fine.
17. Interesting one. This is power tool services, we come in part of Rains,
the winery.
the cafe and bottle shop.
Yeah, this is a county shop there.
Yeah.
Barbers.
Oh, sorry, I got,
Yeah, yeah.
They have a pre-advice on this one.
I thought it looked quite an exciting development. I mean, it is doing something different from the other bars do, because I think it's 4 kitchens, 3 kitchens, so there's going to be small, a small enterprises serving in the area. It could provide a destination. I just thought that was quite exciting, really. So I'm be inclined to support it. It's just a minimal change to the exterior of the buildings. So
My only question on this was, know the building, it's bitter.
I worked there in 1977, 78, I'm a farmer.
Is it cold?
Gold.
So
More like mammoths there,
my first thought,
honestly.
how are they going to make this place heated
It's a big, big building.
and insulated? And what they say is that there'll be no heating in there. There are 4 kitchens, cafes.
Kitchens are very hot, you don't heat kitchens, you never heat
They're
kitchens.
only separate kitchen units. I just question whether they'll get away without any heating.
That's their problem, isn't it, though?
It's their problem, that.
It isn't. I mean, if they say
We'll
they're
all
not
go
going to
and
heat
buy a drink and go, blimey, it's cold.
Please, dear.
No, but it could be the case though, that like, climate change measures is really net by it, but like I've been in the existing O'Brien's bar, I don't think they really got radiators in there and stuff like that now. It's just hustle and bustle of people going in there and
and these are just industrial sheds.
yeah, it's quite an interesting venture. I've seen it on Facebook what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring something different, like.
And is it
Like
just going to be all one, is it for independent enterprises?
Just like small outlets, like street food outlets, like you get these pop-up like food outlets, like these bands that turn up at places. So there's sort of pop-up events and things like that going on there. That's kind of what they do at O'Brien's at the moment. And O'Brien's does bring something different to Home Perth, to the different pubs and stuff like that.
I think we should support it, it's the sort of thing we would benefit from.
It's definitely been empty.
The open area, the kind of yard area, Cooper's yard, which, and as they say, a Home Perth is short of places to sit outside to drink really, as you go past the old bridge. So I thought it was exciting. In terms of what reason will we have to refuse, I don't really think there are any. So.
No.
Steve said, Home Perth centre has a low vacancy rate and the occupation of this vacant property will help strengthen our evening economy.
To bring people in, surely.
Yeah. I think we should support.
I think I've got no problem supporting it. I'd still like to just query the heating thing.
I don't think they'll bother though.
It probably won't.
If they've got kitchen areas, kitchens obviously generate heat.
Yeah.
We do sandwich at butcher's shop and then we end up trying to let windows on.
You
If
do
to what?
not heat kitchens.
I
You're
think
not
it's
gonna
normal.
do that,
I'd hate to
kitchen
go in there in a
generates
year's
its own
time and find out it's full of heating or something because it's too cold. You know, from a climate emergency point of view.
Well, we can't refuse on the grounds of something that might happen in the future. They're not proposing to do anything that appears to be ungreen now.
No, I don't agree with that.
It's quite often like you go to places like thinking about Magic Rock in town. So that's kind of like it's like an old kind of industrial unit. I don't think so. Whenever I've been in there, well, it's kind of a place where you do go in there and it's quiet. You need to be wearing a hoodie or a coat or something like that because it's pretty cold. And then they've got some outdoor patio heater kind of things on the outdoor area bit that they have. But inside it, I don't think they don't have like paraffin heaters or anything like that.
Well, I think if
But it's quite
you've got
busy.
these kitchens and the more people go in, people generate heat.
So,
When it's full, it'll be fine. It's when there's hardly anybody there that you'll be cold.
Okay, you beat me to submission.
Really looking at the streets.
I apologise. Yeah.
I think we should approve it, then we're now duty bound to go and keep it full.
We are.
well, like you open it the other hand as well though. There's quite a lot of other pubs around like in Home Perth, which have got like fires in them. And that's not exactly great for climate change either, is it?
They were panelled in the 1953 Clean Air Act.
I think we're thinking of like places like the Nook. I don't think the Nook's got any heating in it. It's got the fire in the little bit on the you're going on the right, but it's nothing else really. But it's just people that go in there. It gets busy, doesn't it? And I suppose there is the kitchen adjoining to it actually, which probably brings a bit of heat into it as well. So
And then they get a few drinks inside and they forget they're cold.
yeah, you put your beer jacket on, don't you? That's what you do.
Okay, moving on. Number 18, erection of detached building. Road proposals.
I looked at this one, I was very puzzled.
It's hard to follow and see what
It seems to be a detached bedroom, bed sitter.
bed, yeah, exactly, it's not in the garden.
With no kitchen.
And there's
With
no
nothing
explanation.
else.
No, it's
Yeah.
not it's just a bed sitter with a loo. It's got a shower and you can sleep there. It's an extra bedroom. And it's an ensuite and a detached
I think it's
ensuite bedroom in the garden.
think it's like open plan, isn't it? So there might be like a bed, like a place for the settee or something like
Yeah,
that.
it is, it's a
Yeah,
very
it's
sophisticated.
a bed sit,
Yeah.
so, you know.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
said it's a sofa bed, so it doesn't look to me as though you'd be letting it really. I don't think they're trying to sneak.
I think if you've got friends or family stopping
Yeah,
over,
I
or,
think they just want a fancy, I mean,
Yeah.
it's quite fashionable to have very fancy sheds nowadays, isn't it? I mean, a shed isn't a shed anymore. A shed is a creation these days. So it might be, it was puzzling though, wasn't it?
I saw it originally and I thought it looked like one of these like outdoor buildings that people have for offices like propped up during lockdown.
Yeah, working
brought in on a
like,
crane,
yeah.
on a
Well, when I
crane.
looked around the planet, I thought that was going to be, and then I thought, oh, is it going to be like a man shed instead, where somebody like goes, like puts a pool
Yeah,
table in
yeah,
there, goes put a
yeah.
bar in there or something like that. But it's a bedroom, so it's a bit weird. But
Well,
like,
it isn't exactly a bedroom, it's a sofa bed, they very clearly say, so it's clearly
it's
going to look
not
like
actually,
a
that's
sitting
it as a
room.
bedroom, it's not.
It's going to look like a little sitting room,
okay,
well, except when you open up the sofa bed, I think.
what do you think, Andrew?
I can't see any problems with it really at the moment, it's not for what they've put forward and what it looks like, and I can't see any, there's nothing major, nothing outstanding that spoils the view or anything at all, so I can't see a reason to really say no, let's object.
There's plenty of room in the garden.
Loads of them, big garden.
Yeah, it's a very big garden.
That's what I thought about it, and I looked on Google Maps as well, because I was looking exactly where it was, and like there's other gardens nearby which have got, I suppose, sheds which are a similar size.
Big
to
sheds
them.
of a similar size,
Yeah,
or
in
a
the garden,
man cave, or
another thing.
a lady shed or whatever you want to call it, so it's not going to stand out,
Yeah.
well, you know.
I've never heard of a lady shed.
I'm trying to be fair, council
I
code.
like a lady shed.
Equality, I think that.
Not for who else, mate. But I can't see any reason to object against it
No,
myself.
I completely
Yeah.
agree with that statement. I
Okay.
think we should just.
Okay. So, support?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 19. Town gate improvements, lots of town gates.
Yeah.
Side rear extensions in a conservation area, this is a certificate of lawfulness, so. So again, they're just asking, aren't they?
It was,
Sorry,
it was
Mary.
pretty minimal, wasn't it, really? I mean, there was things I expected to see which we didn't see, so there was no location plan, no block plan, just minimal information. It did say it hadn't been extended before, so it's still its development rights, so. But I think we probably, and it looked to me as though the applicant was just doing this for himself, which is why it was a bit lacking, but maybe we just need to defer to like the
That was my
information,
thoughts.
yeah.
Leave it to Curtis. Okay with that? Mhm. 20, formation of new vehicular access.
This was the one I couldn't open this afternoon. There appeared to be a lot of trees, and then my internet went down.
And that was that.
That was that. The trees fell down on my internet line, and
I thought this was pretty unhelpful. I struggled and didn't manage to find out exactly what was happening with this, or where the new access was. It didn't seem to me very clear. And if anybody, maybe somebody else managed to.
I think there's certainly a lot of trees involved, he wants looking into. So, we don't want trees getting taken down willy-nilly and.
Yeah, there was an arboricultural survey, and the outcome with that was to say they need to plant a minimum of 6 trees to make up for the ones that.
What's the argument for the new access? Why is it needed?
No idea.
I would have thought that should be part of the planning application.
You can't work out where it was. You can't even make a guess, can you, where it's doing it?
Is it showing onto the existing access, or is it like a completely new access which sounds of it with the trees taken down and.
it does. My impression with all the trees was that this was coming at it from a different angle.
Different angles to gain access.
It isn't very clear.
It isn't clear. I mean, the red line kind of obscures where you might have the dotted line underneath, so I was just a bit flummoxed. That's what we stick first a bit.
That's saying we don't understand where this access is or what it does.
I mean, we don't have to comment, do we?
No.
Can,
It's highways more or less that will have to say on this, isn't it?
Yes.
So we defer it to.
Refer to highways.
See, we've got it on here, it's a private drive to a, what was it, a stone?
Oh, it's in use.
Private drive to a stone yard. That's what they put on the tree application form. Oh.
I think if we're
Yeah,
honest,
obviously, it's changed.
To Adrian's question, if it's going to involve planting 6 trees, I mean, why do they want?
Kirklees used, I mean, I saw some on the tree department. Used to say stipulate for every tree that came down, so had to be planted. That was a stipulation going back.
That sounds about what it's saying.
So obviously it sounds like the 6 to be planted, if they're on the same rules as they were.
So they
In
take
the
down
late 80s,
3.
early 90s, I presume they're taking down 3 mature trees.
Maybe the current access is just very difficult, very narrow, and you're forever scratching the side of your car. Or I
Get a
don't know.
smaller car and move house.
Shall we just,
Get a push bike.
shall we just defer to Kirklees?
I think we ought to,
I think
without
I'd rather do that than.
Yeah.
If anything else-
Rather do that than tell them to get a bike.
Well, they said you didn't get on your bike, but, you know.
Okay, let's defer it. We're again with that.
Stella McCartney is facing similar opposition
Yes,
in
she
Scotland over some Scots pines.
And it looks beautiful, that house. The house she wants to build looks absolutely beautiful.
21, erection of 2-storey side and single-storey rear extensions, Hornview Avenue. And it's got you there.
But it's not doing that well today.
I did have a look at this. Noted that the materials are matching. It does take the property right up to their border, which means you can't get access to the rear garden only through the house, which
And you can't tell whether there's the one, specified 1 metre because there are no dimensions on the plans. So.
when you look, there is a
It's
little bit of a gap,
you'd have
isn't
to
there?
go side.
There's a little stone wall, isn't there? But
I thought the extension was very large as well in relation to the size of the house, and the extension isn't stepped back from the existing building either, so.
I mean, it's potentially a 4-bed. They've got it as the 4th bedroom says office stroke bedroom. There are only 2 parking places. If it's a 4-bed, then
It's 3 parking.
that's
It's named terrace, isn't it? I didn't feel very happy about it.
I didn't like the fact that it's right up to the border
No.
and no rear access, but I don't know whether that's grounds for opposing it.
We can't
I
tell
said-
it, can we? Because there were no dimensions on
No.
plans, so we can't tell that.
I wasn't happy about the
Yeah.
parking.
Sorry.
No. Should we?
My hearing aid's squeaking away.
That's weak.
I'd say this one.
I feel maybe we should object, we've got some reason to object, haven't we? Yeah, it's too close to the boundary, well, maybe too close to the boundary, and it's not stepped back from the facade in front, and also the roof, and the roof level's not lower either, so I think
Yeah.
So insufficient parking, too close to the boundary.
and not stepped back on either the building line or sea roof.
Okay, oppose it.
Next one, I know the people, so I don't want to comment on this.
Okay.
Completely straightforward, knock down an art building, put up a new one.
It's only a shed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a storage shed for absolutely straightforward.
Shed
no
without
problem, no need to
ensuite
discuss.
facilities.
Definitely no on-street facilities in that shed.
Let's support.
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't
that's
think-
all that.
yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
I wonder why we're getting so few applications. I just think they might be deluged with.
I think it's
Probably.
time of year. time of year, material prices, cost of living,
Yeah.
it's really,
Probably many reasons.
well, I work in the building industry, and,
Oh, dear.
well, yeah, I work for builders merchants, and, the amount of sales and that, the market is
Dead.
yeah, really quiet at the moment. We've seen some green shoots and things improving, but it's really not good at the moment.
Where have we got to?
That was the new planning applications for our number 106. Officers' decisions.
Noted.
There was one that I sent in addition, which I don't know whether you want to discuss.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
I might want to see the whole thing.
just remind me.
The approval of, there was a new development of 35 houses in that floor.
Right,
Which
yes,
was
yes,
opposed
yes,
quite
yes.
strongly by a number of
Yes, yes.
people that can speak about this.
What we want to discuss it now.
I mean, this is the time to do it. If it's in the decisions list, if you wanted to
Well, I
talk
mean,
about it, you might not want to.
It's a
make
done
it.
deal now.
Yeah.
So that's the other side,
I think also, I mean,
Disappointed that he went.
I think these relatively small developments are the kinds we want. It's the 130 and the 220 we don't want, 30 or 10 or 15. We need homes, they're the sorts of numbers of homes we want to be putting up. That's the size of development, isn't it?
Quite contentious, this one, isn't it?
Cause a lot of problems and
It's
people.
35 and it's on, it's not being built, but it's in a nice green
You
field.
didn't feel there.
Access issues.
Biodiversity.
And it was always going to happen, wasn't it? I mean,
Yes.
at some scale, it was always going to happen because it was land scheduled for, the building, as indeed is the one that our Republic case with today. And it's been a kind of war of attrition, really, the way that developers that kind of go to the top and then slowly compromise. So I think it's the done deal, really. I can't see who would appeal. There's really nobody would appeal.
So no further action.
Yeah.
It does raise the question of why we discussed it.
Well, yes, well, we are raising that question and it's a topic that's up for grabs.
I think sometimes Kirklees might be instructed as well by their legal officers. If they're to refuse it and then the developer appeals against it, and then it goes higher and higher, it can cost them.
Spend millions.
It can cost them a lot of money for various things like this. So sometimes, I can't speak for the Kirklees people, but they might have to admit to it's a losing battle sometimes with some of these things, rather than let it drag on, go to court, and then lose a lot of money over something. So it's not always the decisions that we want and we're going to get. But sometimes I think we have to try and fight to try and get the best that we can do.
That's right.
And we do that. We refused it, and we refused it, but there's no legal comeback on us if we refuse it. But Kirklees, it's a bit different, the obligations they have.
I think quite often we'll oppose things and we get granted, but then when you look at the detail, they've actually taken on board at least some of the things that we're proposing for. So you can sort of say, well, we've done some good there.
There's some compromises on the way, so it might not have been as bad as it could have been, but it's still not going to be pleased with the residents, and it's still not ideal. It doesn't necessarily make it right, but it makes it maybe a bit better than it could have been.
I mean, I'm not sure whether it's the time to raise this, I think Pat was more or less raising, which is that we spend a lot of time on planning applications, both in the committees and also as individuals, and is it time for us to look again at how we handle this?
I think we should circulate the document you did before.
I think there's an issue also that concerns me that's cropped up several times, and it relates to certainly a couple of applications we considered recently, and that's where there's pre-planning discussions. That troubles me, because it suggests that a deal is being done, and any input that we might have is likely to be minimal. So it then rather calls into question what their role is in the planning process.
I mean, it's one of the things on our list of objectives, and I think it's a fairly straightforward one. in essence, that we ask trees in the first instance, can we have sight of these pre-application advice? And I would hope that they say, yes, that's fine, there you go.
I mean, you know,
Who knows?
you don't worry about pre-application if somebody who's building an extension and they're going to ask the advice of the council before they, you know, would it be all right? Nobody's bothered about that. You would hope that could be encouraged. If when a developer who's doing 20 or more houses goes, it's a different.
ballgame.
I'm no problem with them doing that, but I think we should have sight
It
of
should
it,
be public.
so that when we're considering it, we know what the.
I think the problem I have though, Chair, is that sometimes it's clear, for example, in an application, I think we had, not the last meeting, the meeting before that, in relation to the infilling of a quarry,
Yes.
where pre-application discussions clearly given an undertaking for further development, which we in a sense are not able to comment upon, and which is predicated upon the first planning permission being given.
Yeah.
That troubles me.
I noticed that on one of the applications this time they did mention the pre-application advice and the advice
Yes.
being given, but that's pretty rare.
It is,
I
yes.
actually
And it was the applicant that mentioned it, not Kirklees.
Yes.
So they chose to
So they chose
make it.
I mean, normally you just see a tick in a box, don't you?
Yes, yes, you do.
I mean, some parish councils don't look at planning applications at all. I don't
Well,
know.
Peniston's abolished theirs this year. Peniston published abolished their
I mean, we could, if we chose to, we could go to full council and say, this meets frequently for a long time, doing the papers takes time, you know, it's officers' time, and they're not obliged to listen to us. We propose that we don't do it. I'm not saying we should, I'm saying we could.
Personally, I prefer to have conversations with Kirklees that they listen to us.
No, yeah, but perhaps we can't make that
No,
happen.
we can't make that happen, but perhaps we can try that before.
I'd
Good
like to
question.
think that we do make a difference.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I think,
I'd like to think we make a difference.
yeah, I think
Though I've
we
no
do.
real evidence for that, because
Yeah.
we don't get any feedback that says as a result of.
But I think, as Tom said, what we can do is chip away and make things a little bit better, and if we do that, we're doing a good job.
Because I know on the planning committee they do have the issues of the parish town councils and the remaining parish town councils of HP, whatever, you know, say this, Burton said this, Malcolm's council said this.
Yeah. So they do note it, they do read
They
it.
know that
They are aware of it,
Then
and
I
I think
think it's up to them. If they go, oh, we accept what they are saying, it's just support the parish town council. They're like, no, we're not going to listen to that voice. We're going to say, yes, we're going to do it.
I think that it's worth doing. We do give a voice to our people to come here and give them the opportunity to come and speak to us, and we are showing our support for them when we're looking through the list and putting our iron expertise there. So, like a lot of the time, like most of the applications that do come to us, obviously most of them aren't contentious, but it's like the 5%, the 10% of them which are contentious, which we do speak and discuss. And then I think if we didn't put a comment in, it's like people would say, what are you doing about this? We're not doing anything about it. So I think it's worth us to do it because.
We're being seen to do something.
Yeah, and then if Kirklees do refuse it, or approve something and we refused it, we can say, well, we tried our best,
Yeah.
but it wasn't done. But, or in some instances, we can say we did refuse it, and we can't say for certain that it matters or not, what we say, but like, or even any difference. But like, if the decision matches ours and applications are refused, then you can think we are doing some good.
I think we have got a bit quicker at doing them as well.
Yes, we
I
have.
think we speed.
I think we can do more yet as well.
I think
And again, that's
we could speed.
one of our objectives.
I think we need a few more where
Yeah.
if something is unremarkable, say unremarkable and move to a vote and don't have a discussion
Yeah.
about it unless somebody says, no, it isn't. You know?
My sort of thoughts, or part of this, is that perhaps I need to sit down with Gemma before we put the list out and just do a rough cut through it and say, here's the contentious ones, and here's all the ones
Yeah.
that's really
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea,
Good
actually.
idea.
And then we can just focus really on those
On the
contingent.
ones, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think as well though, like it's.
I mean, it doesn't mean we don't look at the rest, but it does
No.
mean that.
Less time on it.
And we need to remember, I mean, this is practically the only committee the public ever comes.
Yeah, and
They care. Are the people who voted
And I
for
think they
us
want
care?
us to care,
That's
to
important.
be honest, they expect
We
they
do
want us to
care.
care, that's why they come.
Yeah.
We're their voice,
That's
to
right.
hopefully help them
Yeah.
whichever way.
And I would encourage it every time, even though I might not agree with what they're saying, I'd rather people care.
I will add as well that this is still quite a young council, like some of you people, some of you council James Barnett, Fenwick, you've only been here about less than 6 months on the council, so still learning the ropes. I'm still learning the ropes, we're all still learning things about
Never too old to learn, Tom.
Exactly, yeah, but the day stop learning, that's the day stop. So keep on, so like I think we will get better and more slippery as a committee as we get more experienced in that.
I mean, I've
So-
always thought that we're not here to be planning officers, we're not, we never went to qualified as planning officers, only two exceptions. But, you know, we're trying to give
Credible advice.
representative view of
A local perspective, local insights that Kirklees will occasionally think, I hadn't realised that.
And if we're doing that, I think.
We're doing a good job.
Yeah, it was nice to tell me that I don't care about this wasn't Jewish green.
Okay, where does that take us to?
107.
I mean, just before we leave that, I am conscious of our objectives and we need to start chipping away at some of them. It was only at the full council that we actually approved on this, wasn't it?
So you want to-
Approved, yeah.
Yes.
So we can start and chip away at some. And there's some easy, some quick wins on there, I think. I think writing to Kirklees asking about the
Yeah, we could have some.
pre-approval. And so perhaps I'll have a chat to you about that one. as well.
We'll put a lot of, we can put a lot of that into the next agendas to sort of kick off the work on that and let's go on working groups.
Yeah.
Would it be worth our, and I'm open to people saying, no, it wouldn't work or whatever, but would it be worth our attempting to have an informal meeting with one or two of the Kirklees planners and to discuss, not to confront or to challenge or to appeal against, things where we've differed and see if we can understand why that was and what it involved.
Their way of thinking, or
Yeah.
why they come to a decision.
And then we have some understanding of how they think, and we can think, well, we still want to oppose it, or we might do better if we do it this way, or I see what the point they're making. I mean, would that be of value, or would it just be?
I think though people see us as an independent rather than Kirklees. The local people seem to come to us first as a first, can we ask?
I was thinking in terms of us becoming better at getting what we want through Kirklees, not learning to do what they want, us learning how to diddle around because we understand how they work. Sorry, would you mind editing the tape?
Diddle
I
around.
think, you know, when we differ, you know, when we get the responses back from the Kirklees, and I always look at the ones that are highlighted in red where we differed, and go and have a look and see now, why did they make that? Yeah, it's a bit of a slow process though, isn't it? I'm not sure, but you can't really believe that the fewer red bits we got, the better really, because I think sometimes we do just have a purely local perspective, as Tom was saying, and you know, with the voice of the
I mean, in answer to your question,
Yeah.
I think it'd be great if we could get one or two of them here, when we get them.
I think there's an interesting issue that I'm conscious, for example, I'd be interested to know how often members of the planning committee actually come and do site visits. Sorry? Well, quite.
Very rare.
So in a sense, I suppose part of what I'm thinking is that in a sense we can, as the parish council, be their eyes on the ground because it's that local knowledge that they don't have when they're looking at a paper application. And to be able to explore that with them informally, I think would be quite useful.
Seems like the tree officers, they've done Google Earth. They've never really done site visits unless specifically asked or told or whatever. It's very, very rare doing it. It's on Google Earth or, and I know that from experience. And the there's 4 tree officers now.
All Kirklees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends which one you get, because they've all got different opinions. I know them all. Some's are use common sense, which is a good thing. Others are adamant, stick bang onto the rules and won't move.
I
You know,
think,
so it just
I think
depends.
it's worth asking.
I mean, we could make ourselves available during the day. We wouldn't all be able to come, but then it would probably, we may not need all.
It's worth asking, but what we don't want is, I think, well, did have a meeting with Teresa Harlow, didn't we? But that was kind of also like on a macro level, and it was pretty much a waste of time, really. It seemed like, a kind of
If we make it clear that we want better to
We want-
understand
yes.
their thinking
Yeah.
and
I
understand.
think so.
And to help improve their decision making.
No,
Decision
that's not,
making.
no, I don't think we should say that at all until we met them. It
Yeah,
sounds
no, no.
challenging, we're not here to confront them.
No,
We want them to come for the meeting, Adrian, and saying we'll make you better, we'll not make them come, it'll affect them.
We can ask, but I don't almost like that.
I don't,
To be honest with
they
you,
may not.
I don't, the tree officers won't.
I mean,
One of the things that we were told, and obviously I was there, never ever, no confrontation. If you go to a garden, knock at the door, please, I say, come, just walk away. Same as meetings, you walk away.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, but I know what you're saying.
I'm saying, can we make it clear in the letter that if this is not in any way an appeal or a confrontation
Just to
or
sound
an
the thing.
undermining, we genuinely wish better to understand where it,
We have similar meetings before where they've come and spoken to us and explained the procedure and how we do things. So we could do that. So they've done stuff like that before, it's not unprecedented.
Are you putting that
I mean,
in?
say we are a new council, a lot of our members are new councillors, so it'd be very.
You can, yeah.
So we
I
do that,
think
so
it
we
would
put that as
be
a
useful
resolution.
to focus on green belt, because quite often when there are
Yes.
differences, it's because it's
Green
green belt,
belt.
and I think perhaps we could do with more understanding
Yes.
of
How they see
how
it.
they see
Yes.
it, yeah.
Just one
So
little,
if we,
sorry,
no,
I just got to say one little chink of light. You remember the one up in home? I know it was previously, but they actually came back to us and said
Yes, they did.
they were surprised that we not objected.
Yeah.
So, you thought, well, someone's looking.
Yeah, they do read them.
It's no day after.
I think it's approved, that's it. Yeah, which is interesting, isn't it?
So your resolution is what you're asking to do. You would like to write to Kirklees.
Yes.
Come for a cup of tea and some biscuits.
Steady on now, councillor, steady. But we can most probably arrange it.
To discuss the planning process.
Well, before they gave training sessions to us, so whether they call it training or.
Yeah, it might be worth calling
A
it
discussion
training
or
for
training.
new
Yeah,
Would
councillors.
discussion,
anybody like
yeah.
to draft the communication?
I think chair ought to.
I'm not sure about training, I think it is about the relationship between the two ones.
Yes, we know it is, but we're talking about getting them here. What we do when they are here is
And
not
there's some things,
necessary.
we'll lock the door and leave it
I
to
don't want to be
councillor
trained.
Colin.
So maybe like a discussion then with them or talk.
I think it's
Could-
an
could- could- could-
informal,
yeah.
informal discussion to
Yeah.
increase understanding,
standing, yeah,
Of all the
yeah.
work.
particularly on green belt.
Particularly
So have a chat with you at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you okay?
So,
PS bring your own sandwiches.
We'll give you those horrible pink wafer biscuits and nothing else.
Oh, I think they're all right.
Do you know, eh?
I like them as well, yeah.
All right,
Do
right.
you like those pink ones? Oh.
One pot of tea, get some wine down, isn't it?
Okay, let's move on. 107, neighbourhood planning and reviewing parish council outcomes.
The seat.
The seat. I can very quickly tell you what's happening there. Absolutely nothing.
Okay,
They have-
next item.
They have got the information there. It's with this engineer, Robert Hardcastle. I did ring up the other day and say, we haven't yet had an invoice or anything to say that the thing's actually in order. It wasn't Robert I spoke to, it was someone. And he said, oh, don't worry about that. He says, Cameron will probably be up and working before you see the paperwork. I said, well, are you saying then that it's in the system, it's going ahead? He said, well, I'll confirm it, that he hasn't.
So we could see it any minute or not.
Yes.
Right, okay. Well, there we go.
I think he was sort of positive. I think he was suggesting that
They have to sound
it's
that.
happening, but you don't expect to see any cake.
It is slowly moving.
It is.
It's not a weapon.
I think this is the awful thing about
Yeah.
local government, and particularly when you're a step down from the, it's slow, everything is.
I think I would interpret that as their purchasing department is particularly slow, and the engineers are ahead of them.
It's not as though our procedures are particularly speedy either, is it?
No.
It's just the nature of any kind of formal government.
I think Rich was expecting to have had something by now, but to say that.
And I think Kirklees officers are seriously overworked. I mean, there just aren't enough of them. So everything, so that makes things slow as well.
Okay, traffic calming. Councillor Fenwick.
Right, I've got a meeting on 24th with Councillor Bellamy. I'm waiting Councillor Reeves to get back to me on that. For Brocco School, etc.
Is that with Brocco School?
That's with Brocco's Union Infants School there. I've also rung Kirklees trees. A gentleman rung me last week. The signs that's there, there's trees covering, say, school, safety roads. So I'm waiting them coming back. I know one of the tree officers, I was supposed to work there, whatever. I said, look, can you do your best? It's a junior school, accident waiting to happen. Gentleman lives across the road, he said, seen rear accidents, you've got the times, the dates, anything else. I said, well, prevention's better than cure. So I made the phone call, I'm waiting for them coming back to me,
Right.
so they can pull the trees, wash the signs, hopefully.
That's over and above the parking buddies,
Yeah.
those cute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a school, isn't it? So
Yeah.
the sign should be
You've got to get the
visible.
sign
Yeah.
visible.
Cars
It has
to be seen, it has to be, you know, it's coming dark nights, winter nights, small children, they don't all wear high vis. Balls at road,
And they rush out, they're
Of course they do.
children, they don't,
Yeah.
they don't
They don't look, they don't
both
think, they
ways.
don't know.
It's not, I mean, sometimes they might.
so that's the progress on that chair.
Thank you.
What we've got.
Part 3, changes to Kirklees planning process. Would you like to comment? But I think basically nothing that affects us, is it?
No, so the bottom line of what they've sent through is that it's a change to their scheme of delegation on who can make decisions, and it shouldn't affect anything.
Right.
Okay, noted.
108, Peak District National Park. To note planning applications lists with our comments.
Noted.
No new applications. To note new decision notices.
Noted.
No correspondence received regarding the communication of decision notices.
I don't know whether you want to include any action off the back of that. They are saying that they're not going to send us decision notices anymore,
Which is a shame.
which I received half an hour before a decision notice was sent through, so I'm a little confused. But I haven't had any since. So, but there are so few, then it's quite difficult to tell whether that's just because there haven't been any.
Given it's Peak District, it's sort of, you think, I'm not too concerned, but if Kirklees did it, that means we wouldn't get any feedback.
Are they going to send us out application lists still?
They will still be sending us application notices for comment, as council too, but they won't be sending us the decisions on the ones we're coming on.
Oh, it's interesting.
It's a bit strange.
You've got to go and look.
It's a bit strange, but if you are to go and look, it's maybe one or two, isn't it? It's not a huge
It's
amount.
not like we get dozens now.
But
Is there a procedure that you'd rather go forward on, that we don't look and we leave it to that, we made no comment?
Or do we delegate you to look each month?
Or do I
And
not?
have a sentence in?
Yeah.
it's a bit weird, isn't it?
As I say, I'm not particularly, given it's a handful, I'd be more worried if this was a sign of things to come with Kirklees. It's one thing asking you to look at maybe one in this case.
I've not used their planning portal to look anything up, to be honest, so I don't know whether it is
If
just
we So we're asking you to look at 50.
Do I need to look at anything that's not a decision?
Well, can you come back and say to us, look, that would be a lot more time consuming than you could possibly imagine,
Test it
or
out.
frankly, yes, it would be.
Would it be simpler, Chair, just to deal with this on a case-by-case basis? So that if we have any particularly difficult ones where we'd like to know the outcome and the reasons for it, we could ask the clerk to look at them. And otherwise to move it through. We don't need them in most cases.
I think it's just 2 or 3, I think
Yeah.
we look at it. I mean, I can kind of understand it, because the saying here, due to the limited resources and we can more efficiently. And it's probably because they've got, in their peak,
Well,
it's probably,
so many parishes.
yeah, but that's what I mean, it's probably dozens of parish councils in the peak, isn't there?
Yeah.
So they're in to generate different emails out and all this kind of thing, so it's more work for them to send out these emails than it is for us to look up 1 or 2. So for the next meeting, Gemma won't have anything to look up, because there's been nothing from this current meeting. So nothing for this one, next one might be 1. I think it'd take less time for us to do that than it would be for them, so.
I just
I
wonder,
think that,
sorry.
sorry, Mary. I think that does fall down though, in that you're not necessarily getting a decision by the time the next meeting comes up. So there haven't been any this time, that doesn't mean to say there are no decisions happening between now.
Pending decisions.
I just wonder if our parish council from Upper Valley could look. It's not many, is it really? And it's, I find it's fairly easy, it's a fairly easy, site to see, I find it easy to go easily.
I don't think it's any more difficult, it's just
No,
difficult.
it's not, no, it's just different.
The problem is how often you need to check in to see what's happened.
Before planning, just before planning meetings.
What ours or theirs?
Ours.
Ours.
Because it's not.
You're only going to be looking for things they've done, you're not looking for things they haven't yet done.
That's what I'm saying, is you can spend a lot of time looking when they haven't made their decisions. So it can
Well,
be.
just look just before the planning, or just before one of these meetings.
It- it-
It means never, there may have been 3 would be the most, and sometimes there are none, and not 1, so.
If I investigate a little bit further, then I can put this in as a action for next
But
week.
it'd be better if we can avoid giving you more work.
Yeah.
If it's, it depends on their planning portal. If I can search by home, just home village, and it will give me everything that's happened in home in the last month or
You
two,
just,
that will be easy
you
enough,
just need to
and that
you
won't
just
be
need to
more
look-
work than I do now.
You just need to look for them by number, because obviously we've got.
But if I need to search through
You
everything,
need to know the numbers
Decision.
before you look,
Yeah.
if you
It
do.
would
that.
be- it'd be easier to
We
filter.
have the numbers from the previous.
Yeah, but
meetings.
what you really want is to say, I need to look at those, get home, there's been 3, and not have to look up old paperwork and then
Oh, I
check
see.
what you
sometimes
Yeah.
it's 18 months before you get.
Yes.
That's
Can
correct.
I suggest that Gemma does a little bit more investigation and then we'll consider it next week?
Yeah.
And I
They,
make a
they must
recommendation on
generate
that,
a
yeah.
list of approvals, mustn't they? And if you could access that, then
Mm.
also a list of decisions.
But if you do that, then you could be looking for a huge list of, if I need on this.
Well, we need Gemma to look to see.
Yeah.
Let's,
I see Councillor James on a sleepless nights.
okay, where do we go to?
Highways.
No, no.
Yes, highways campaigns. I don't honestly think there's anything to say about it.
There we go.
I think we had some chase up emails from Angelina, didn't we? But actually,
There's not been
there's-
any
it
real
was just
progress
chasing up.
there, is it? Which is disappointing. We've
But
had-
not surprising.
We've had 2 meetings with police councils, which I'd rather hoped they might bring a bit of pressure and give us a bit more progress, but it doesn't seem to be happening. I don't want to lose sight of them, but I would say there's no progress.
Can we send an email to the highways team asking them to provide us with an update for the next council meeting, because we're not really, we're concerned that these are stalling and we're not really progressing with them.
Just hang on to respond, this is what it is.
When did we last write to them?
Individually, I mean, this is collectively, I don't know.
Right.
Individually, the different people have tried to make progress on each one, not very.
I understood the Burnley Road thing was kind of imminent, but.
That was in June, wasn't it?
Sure. We went
think they're hanging out for the 3-year anniversary.
Yeah, we'll keep to it.
Yeah.
The one in Newell's being fixed, they're working on that one now, I think, Kurt Bridge Lane.
The one that nobody.
Yeah, that's the wrong with that thing.
Yeah, I complained about it. I used to use that road every day when I'm from work. So,
Some of them, to me, just begging the leads, the Netherthorne one really irritates me because it's
was that the WO line
a
one?
few yards of
Yeah.
the other line.
Is that still not being done? Because that's the one that my cousin complained to me
And
about,
that's,
which I brought to the
it
council.
must be almost 3 years.
That's got to be an easy hit, hasn't it? A cheap and
Yeah.
easy.
And that's still nothing's been done.
Nothing.
Anyway, we're not going to get anywhere to.
Any actions?
Unmade, sorry, this unmade roads, green lanes and, we had police yesterday on motorbikes and today
Alright.
going up and down Scholes Road, there been some hooligans on quads or whatever, they went down. They were straight out yesterday late afternoon, 2 police officers on bikes, and they were there again this morning at 9 o'clock. So whoever's run or whatever, that they are in the presence of making themselves known with police bikes, RVs, and there's been a 4-wheel drive police up and down all schools, so they are.
Good.
Which area is that? Sorry,
That's
in
schools,
Stoles?
yeah, Little Cape Lane schools, Back of Milners, yeah.
Do we want to chase this up or not, or are we just going to leave it till the next meeting?
To be quite honest, I'm at a loss now. Rich has tried in the past to chase these up, either doesn't get a response at all, or it's very non-committal. We've tried through councillors, we're not making any progress. We've tried on an individual basis, and again, it's rare to get a response at all. Certainly no progress. And it's quite depressing, but I don't know what else we do.
We don't really. We never really used to talk about highways that much before, but we never had stuff like this happening with road closures and
Not
things.
on this scale.
Not used.
I mean,
But like,
you could add another 10 to that.
does this need to be? Is this something that do we remove it from the agenda because we're not hitting anything back on what's happening, or do we keep on fighting it? If we're going to keep on fighting it, I think we need to keep on chasing them up.
Why don't we say we'll put it on the agenda every 6 months or something, see if anything's happened.
I'm reluctant to take it up.
No.
I don't think they'll take it up,
Because
because
all of
it's kind of
these-
giving in.
But I think so if we're not going to give in, I think we should chase them up about
Yeah.
it.
All
I
of
think we
these
should do.
have come from members of the public, haven't they? It's
Yeah.
people that's come to us and said,
Can I suggest then that we leave it on the agenda, but we don't discuss it, we just say no progress and move on to the next item and just leave it?
But
which is what I'm saying.
if we're going to have it on the agenda, we should chase it up though.
An update, chase it up and try and find out what's going on.
I'm not expecting them chasing it up every single meeting, but if we haven't heard all back for like 2 or 3 meetings, the progress has been made, we should chase them up.
well, shall we do that then? Collectively, all those items, put them together.
Yeah.
To highways, chief, or whatever that is.
So that's
Well, we can use the excuse of a new officer dealing with them, and she can sound, I don't seem to be able to find your answers to any of these letters.
We are on items 109 to 110.
I think if you speak with Rich about it, generally, he would.
No, not one time.
about it.
I'm not one of them.
I've got 2 109s.
Well, I've taken the unmade road as part of
Yeah.
the above one on that, if you know what I mean.
So highways and green lanes.
Are we okay with that then?
Yep.
Are you okay with that?
We're not okay with it, but we are.
Well,
Well,
Yeah,
we're half
yeah.
of okay with it.
I don't think we should just let it go off. I know it's painful, isn't it?
So it's very frustrating.
We want chasing up on all of these matters.
Is it Graham West? That's it. Environment.
Yes. Was it Mark's car?
I think it's West.
Not sure.
But there's another CEO now. If you want to see him. And last time I put him on the CC, I got a response. Because he's new in the job.
Well, when that started, it was terrific. At least things are happening in here now,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
things are happening actually, aren't they? Yeah.
Right, 110 footpaths and public rights of way. There hasn't been another public rights of way for them. I don't think there's anything scheduled. I suspect it's going to be one of these things that we just quietly drop. So I've nothing to report on footpaths and public rights of way.
Do you want to remove it for next time?
We can if you like. I mean, if there isn't a meeting, I'll report. But I have a feeling it's not going to happen. On 11, planning policy guidance. Okay, this is the one where.
I'm trying to speak to the heritage team.
Oh yes, this is the one where, yes, we are indeed trying to get a response from them, aren't we? And I don't think we've had anything as yet, no.
Moving on to the next bit, the Hamlet Conservation Area appraisal line, I think that's on the website. I was looking, because when I was looking.
No, according to Steve, it was never published. It was done
It,
and
oh,
never
well,
published.
it's recorded as being, right, okay.
That's what Steve said.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not-
recorded as having been done, so.
So
I'll
just
have
skipping,
another look.
skipping ahead a little bit, but on
Yeah.
that, what he said is, design code, the last meeting the conservation group had unfortunately had insufficient time to further this, but we hope to have final document by the end of this year.
That's for item.
No, that's
Oh,
the next
right.
slide, that's the
Yes.
design.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're
Sorry, I
still on
thought we'd gone
the
on that.
conservation.
On 111, all right, okay.
On 11, I think, I'm almost sure it was Steve who said it was definitely written and it was never published.
Well, I'll go back and have a look.
But this is the one where we've asked for,
Yeah. We're asking to talk to them and
To
they're
talk.
not getting back to us.
Yes.
okay.
Because we thought at one point we could be there product rights and leave it, you know, in our pack on any buildings.
I think probably in reality it's one person, isn't it?
I
Probably.
think so,
The whole of
yeah, I
Kirkby.
think
So do we want to nag them after this committee meeting or wait to nag them after the next committee meeting? Anybody got any idea how long it is since we wrote? Can you remember?
Well, Rich will have done it after the last meeting, so it's only a month.
Maybe we should leave it another month.
So do better the next meeting.
Design code, as I say,
Yeah.
it's looking like end of the year. Place standards, not too much to say. We've got another meeting coming up shortly. I think what was discussed at the last meeting has been well publicised already. This is sands and the playgrounds and tree screenings.
And around benches.
I don't think there's anything to add to what's already out there.
No.
And I'll update after the next meeting, which will be our next planning meeting. And see if there's anything comes out of that. Which leads us to 114, budgets. And, several discussions, haven't we, on the budget generally? I think we're quite fortunate in planning.
it's easy.
It's a relatively
Right,
easy,
yeah.
it's fairly straightforward.
The only question is whether we think we should continue to earmark the £3 for the market. Whether we think it's likely to happen in the next year.
My view is that we shouldn't, because it's not needed yet. They've had a grant from Kirklees to do what they want to do. I think that's one that we should
We
put
can
back in.
give that back into the pot.
Yeah.
I've had a note through from Rich with just something along those lines actually. So the total cost of the SID will come in at £3,675.03. So if you wanted to get another one, there's not enough money in that earmarked reserve for another device.
Okay.
However, if the committee wants to get rid of the market CMR, potentially,
Change it to a
That's
SID, earmark it for
could
SID
go into
instead.
road safety, which would also, at the moment, we've got the 1,000 earmarked for the pilot bollard scheme as well. So we're all wanting to extend that, so what potentially you could be doing is moving the EMRs just all into road safety,
That would make sense.
potentially assume 4,000 for another SID to account for inflation. Or planning might make a resolution to council to move money from this year's markets earmarked to road safety and not have it for next year. So all of those are kind of, when you are putting your request in for next year's budget as
Do
well.
we need to think, because we might want, quite seriously, another couple of SIDs next year, or another SID next year.
My own feelings are that yes, I would like to move the SID next year.
Yes.
And I think I've understood that Richard's saying move the market 3,000 into EMR and then we'll be alright.
No, it's not enough.
No, but like, if you
Well, we've got
We've got
seven,
five.
we have 7 already in road safety. We've committed,
Yeah, so you've
3,000
committed just over 3,500 on
there's
that.
potentially another 1,000 for the
Yeah.
kiddie cut out. So we've still got the balance of that.
We've got 1,500 not used on 6, we've got 1,000 for the bollards, but we are going to spend that probably. So that's not available to us. And we've got the 3,000. That gives us 4,500, which does one SID and a bit in spare. And SIDs will probably have gone up by next year anyway. Frankly, inflation being what it is, 4,500. We might be safer asking for more and saying we need 5, so that we can be confident we can buy a SID.
If we put 5,000 into road safety
5
next year,
plus
we're
3,000.
still halving down the budget of what it was last year. And if we're like the £1,000 earmarked for the school bollards, leave that in there and roll it over. I suppose we could have a budget of 6,000, which would be 5,000 for
For a SID.
Well, we shouldn't probably shouldn't earmark it. We maybe should leave it a bit vague in case
Well,
the school, yeah, road safety, the school bollard project. We decide we don't want to do it, or roll it out further. We might want to use that for something else as a road safety measure instead, or it might be something else. So if we say 6,000 in the budget for next year,
For
that
safety.
that should cover the SID and also other road safety things we may want to do.
Okay, so you've got your earmark reserve for the market. You need to put this in the resolution so we can make a recommendation to council for it. So resolution 1, earmark the market to go to
Road safety.
road safety.
We'll still have the balance of whatever's in road safety.
It's 1,500 plus the 1,000. Our balance is 2,500.
So resolution 2, keep remaining 1,500-ish, I will put the exact figure in the EMR for road safety.
Yes. Yes.
So we're asking for an additional what? 2.5 from 6 is 3.5?
Resolution 3
Yeah.
asks for
So we have,
budget for 24-25 of, did you say 3.5?
yeah, additional funding, but the rest of the money will come from the existing resource.
Yeah.
So that's cutting it down
Yes,
by.
we're asking for an additional
So you're
3.5.
reducing it by 6,500 from last year, so I think that's.
I sort of had a quick look through the objectives and actually there's only the SID that's got any cost against it.
I mean, I
Most
think
of
this
these
is
actions-
almost the first spending we've done since I've been at council. Oh no, the printing the neighbourhood plan.
Unless you want to print some more plans if you want.
We better budget that, yes, we should put that
Does
in.
that come out of funding?
Yeah,
It does.
Is that something we want to
and
do?
they are really expensive, so we should put in, say, 300 or something.
They're £30 a piece, so are we talking about all councils having one, or we're talking about just members of the planning committee having one.
Our feeling was that all councillors should really.
Because it isn't just about planning, it's quite wide
It
ranging.
affects
You know.
planning more.
The last time I spoke to Jen about this, she hadn't sent out the reminder for ex-councillors to return those. I'm not sure, she may have done it by now, but I'm not sure whether any have come back. But it isn't the kind of thing I think you can go back to ex-councillors more than once and ask them, you know, that
I mean, it
we
wouldn't,
might wish to hang
we
on to
wouldn't
them.
need a full, would we,
We don't.
like we did last
They
year.
won't need a full print, will they? 'Cause, yeah.
So 300 sounds
I think that's 10 at least.
fairly reasonable. So we are vote on your resolution. And also we still need to note the two bits of expenditure year to date and projected income.
Do you want me to propose the resolution?
Can I just
and
query,
you-
Chair, whether every councillor needs a copy? I think there is an argument for members of the planning committee having a copy, but it is available online.
Yeah, but it's unreadable
It is.
online.
Well, no, I'm not sure I should read it.
Because you say there's no index, is there?
No, I think we when we first produced this, we felt very strongly that they were much more likely to read a paper copy and that every councillor should have it available. Ideally, every councillor would read it, that won't happen, but that it's not just for the planning committee, it is an overarching set of values.
And it is part of this.
I wasn't disputing that, it was simply that those values are there in the document online. You know, we have a website.
It's easy for me sometimes though to read.
I'd
I'm
say
always trying to
planning
run a
committee-
website.
planning
I
committee,
don't,
think that's the case.
I think it's fine reading agendas and things online and short documents, but long documents, really, I think it's better that.
I think we've been trying to encourage all councillors as well to get involved with the planning process. So in theory, all councillors look at the plans in their area and we encourage them to comment on it. And
Fine,
so
just
it's
raise the point.
something to look at. I tell you, we did deliberate over quite a while, didn't we?
I do agree with Adrian to an extent though, because there's going to be some councillors who are never going to be on the planning committee, don't ever want to be on the planning committee. So is it worth us pretty well not giving it to them, even though they're never going to influence planning?
But it isn't just about planning, is it? I mean, the scope of the neighbourhood development plan is really very wide, and it is about a vision for the area as well. So I think everybody, and it is easier to, in fact, easier to read things in hard copy. So
Can I just point out that there is, in addition to your EMRs, you do have a budget of £3,000 for this year, which you could use for printing. So you don't necessarily need to ask for it.
Oh, right.
And that budget is likely to be unspent, so that
That
could
could be rolled up.
it can't roll over.
You can put it into an
Maybe
earmark
that's a spend.
reserve.
We
can
can put
put
it
it
into an earmark reserve,
can-
can't we?
So
make a
can we propose to
recommendation.
move that into another pot for us to do that this year? We can do that now, can't we? Like,
Yeah.
we would have to, it'd have to go through full council for us to move money from one pot into another pot, wouldn't it?
Can we not spend that line that's in our budget,
The market.
£3,000, we could buy now, couldn't we?
Another six.
No, well, we could.
We could.
Well, that line, so that budget line
I think
is
it would buy the-
4505.
Oh, it would buy
development
the
plan.
copies of the.
So that £3,000 is actually earmarked for neighbourhood development plan. for
So we could
this year.
certainly
But it's on
buy-
the budget line for rather than.
So we could certainly buy
The hard
Yeah.
copies, and then have quite a lot.
And then you'll have change.
and then we could go for,
Raises one other
we
point,
can
Chair.
earmark.
Why should the planning committee be funding the cost of reports for the full council?
because this committee was
Yeah.
in charge of it.
History is the answer.
Yeah.
History is the answer, because it was very much the child of this committee. Well, it was the child of Rachel,
Yes.
let's face it, but it was officially the child of this committee.
And our budget line is for the NDP.
It's a good point though, it's a good point you raised, but
Yes.
Stop being arrogant.
Sorry.
Well, tonight, council.
Oh, gosh.
So yes, we do have some funding that we could attach to the budget for next year anyway, don't we? The balance of that 3,000.
Yeah.
So in terms of new money, we're not asking for very much at all.
what we're going
Just read out. Can we do
Okay,
this
so
as
the
one?
first resolution, no.
Okay.
First resolution, would be to move the current EMR from markets, £3,000 to, the EMR for road safety.
Yep.
Yes, put that, yeah.
Okay.
Resolution,
Okay, the, second resolution is to, hold on to the remaining 1,500 after you've brought the SID in road safety. And keep that in road safety going forward.
Yeah.
For potential use of, bollards or another SID.
Mhm.
The third resolution would be to ask in the budget for, the year 24-25 for 3,500 in addition to the EMR to be used on road safety. However, we've just identified something where we're going to get changed.
Yes.
So it might not need to be 3,500.
It might only need to be about 500 if we've got £3,000 lurking. But we said 300 for.
It says 3,000, but it says there's only 1,500 remaining in the actions we've made for the plan. So it might be, is it less?
Yeah, which is.
so did you, it came out, I couldn't understand why that came out.
I think it says expenditure in November this year.
I was trying to, what was that?
1,000. What was it November the year before?
500 there.
I didn't think.
Was it November the year before when we printed all it off? Or
Yeah. It cost, because I think
they were about 30 quid a piece, weren't they?
they were 30 or more a piece, and we did 23, and we would have done a couple for the office. And
That would be 1,500 then, I think.
That's 7,500 quid.
There might have been some, look at this one here, so that's the expenditure line. So I imagine November.
That's this November 23-24. So this.
So remaining 3,000.
So this expenditure in November this year, 1,500.
I think I think it's been put in as projected expenditure,
Oh,
so it might be in
projected.
the next one.
Oh yeah, the one further down.
Yeah, I wondered what that was.
Ah, so we haven't spent that yet then.
So, what line is it under?
Actions neighbourhood plan.
4505.
Well, it would be £1,500 for
Projected expenditure, it may be your bollards, you may put that in there as projected expenditure.
It's as broad as it's one, isn't it? Whether it comes out of there or it comes out of the EMR. I mean, if you take it out of
You may put it in there
then
because
you're
there's quite a hefty budget in there and it's not likely to be used for printing.
if Richard put it in there, there'll be a good reason that it isn't necessarily the case that any of us will understand it.
I can see the point where it's,
Tonight, isn't it?
it doesn't look good if we're going into next year and we haven't spent anything out of our current budget. I can see that.
Well, yeah, but we sort
Even
of
though
have on
we're
the
spending out
seat.
of the EMR.
We sort of have. I mean, we know it's happening. We know it's happening imminently, and we're expecting a bill for the SID.
There's nothing we're forgetting from a neighbourhood plan expenditure, is there? I don't think.
Well, we could take the printing out and come out of there, can't we?
Yeah, we're trying to be forecast.
That probably is printing and
Yeah, that's
bollards.
I think so long as we've got the total right, Rich can.
Yeah, we
Sort
can
it out between
almost call it online.
So how much effectively what we want a resolution on now is a kind of ballpark figure of what you're asking for next year's budget.
I thought
New money.
there's about 6,000 in total.
Yeah.
But obviously we would roll over any money we got left over, and whatever's needed is the additional, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a sum of one or the other, 6,000 minus what we've got already. That's the amount that we need. But we might have better numbers by the time we have our next planning meeting. In fact, I think we're in a really good position here with the budget. We're getting it done nice and early, and we've got a few more meetings before the budget has to be set. So I think it's good.
The opening conversation, so it's kind of,
It's an open conversation. We've already pretty much decided what we want to do with it, so we're really well ahead.
We all know we want to have £6,000 next year.
Yeah.
However, we arrive at it.
So the next meeting, okay, so dotting the i's and crossing the t's over.
Yeah.
okay, so in terms of resolutions then, we don't have a settled figure to ask for next year's budget for new money.
we only know the total that we want to end up with, don't we?
Okay.
We should know more about the next meeting after we've got the quote through for printing the remaining, the neighbourhood plans.
And some sort of estimate on the SID.
Yeah, once we've got the payment done, we should know what we're left over, and we should be able to give a more concrete figure of what we need.
So it needs to cover printing and another SID
Another SID. Bollards
and bonds.
and MISC.
Well, just road safety, general road safety, isn't it?
Oh, road safety.
Yeah, I know what general means.
Okay. So you don't actually have a resolution on that one yet, but what you are happy with is repurposing the money for markets, 3,000, and hanging on to any change from the current SID to be kept in road safety.
Yeah.
Okay, so just those two for now, and then probably next time we'll bottom out.
I think you can do that.
Yeah, like the bollards.
Yes.
Unless we write bollards, not something else.
This is, we shouldn't do this, but if Kirklees don't cut the trees from in front of the school sign and Brockholes, would we be prepared to pay John to do it? Because it's children's lives.
No, I don't think we can do that.
You put it like that.
I mean, it's a good question. I mean,
If they don't do it, I can write a letter, we can all see.
we had a
They can do it.
discussion on budget, didn't we, the other day, and if you look at Melton Town Council,
It's twice ours, I know.
They've taken a conscious decision. They've said, because Kirklees have cut back, we're filling the gap. And I sort of think, I'm not sure that's the right thing to do.
Well, we
We're just
shouldn't
hiding-
have to.
we're just hiding it.
I think there are things like children's, the little bollards we shouldn't really have to buy either. But it's,
There's grey areas, isn't there, between something that is all
Conscience and all it should be sorted, Kirkley should really do it.
I don't think we should be doing the trees, and quite often, like all of these trees, whose land are they actually on?
See, the problem you've got there as well, Tom, right?
Yeah.
You've got to do it to what they call British Standard 3998. If you don't, a branch of ripped or anything at all, you're liable. Kirkley gets you or somebody sees you. If Kirkley is going to make a big deal, it's on them.
Yeah.
Not on an individual, a company or a firm. I mean, well, owned by the parish council, you know what I mean? It's not for us to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Before we get to that point, let's try and do it.
We'll give them a chance.
Yeah.
We can't expect to work miracles, click a finger and the afternoon's done. But if there's nothing done within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be on the case.
Okay. We're nearly there. I think we've covered the.
It's whether you want any printed now, or do you want to hang on until you've made a clearer decision on budget?
We can print them now.
we might need some for new councillors.
Will we find out how many are needed?
We'll have to do it once.
Yeah, you certainly.
Sean said he would give his to Glenn Kirkby. So that'll be one.
And I know there's another spare one, which I keep on saying I'm going to get from my dad, but I haven't done.
So what we've resolved is work out how many we need and then get those printed.
Yeah.
We've got the budget.
Yeah.
Just do it. For all councils.
Yeah, or
What we don't already have
The new
one.
council.
it might be worth asking at the next council meeting, like, who needs one, or who doesn't have one. That's a better way of phrasing it.
I'm going to throw out some emails before
Just
that.
email, yeah, I wouldn't wait till then.
You put me down for one anyway. Yeah,
I think I've probably got one of the coverage you can take.
thank you.
115, EPIC's Active Travel Hub Survey. Council's invited to complete the consultation. I've done it, I think you've done it, Mary, it doesn't take very long. I don't think it's something that lends itself to being done as a parish. I think it's an individual. So,
That's it.
I mean, I've just encouraged people to do it, it's only a few minutes. 116, publicising the work of the Home Valley Parish Council.
Well, when we get the SID, we can publicise that.
Yeah, keeps.
When it's up and running, that will be a news story. When we've got kiddie boards, that will be a news story. If anybody would like to write a councillor book, please drop me a line. I can help you put one together. And where's that event is coming up sometime in the next couple of weeks when I can find.
Right, so
Oh,
when
well,
it comes
well,
to my
so-
ventures,
It's,
taking photos as well.
they've all got photos on the
I
asset
thought
map
they had very good
already.
fun.
Yeah, they're on the asset map. You can click on them on the. If you go into our website, the links on the side, the asset map is there, and then you get comes up on a map. But that's cheating. So I'll show you where they are. So you've got to know where the bench is. Thank you.
So yeah, then,
Thank you.
Yeah, just
if you've got one of them covered, I'll call in Thursday afternoon, Gemma, if that's alright.
I can do one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're done?
Good night, we're
Yeah.
about midnight.
That's it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Cheers, Adrian, take care. See you, Pat. All the best.
Thanks.
Don't have nightmares, do sleep well.
You see a short agenda and you think, oh, that's really good, but it never works.